Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to my listening party. I've never done one for the Aura Transformation talk I did about 6 months ago. I'd love to just welcome you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being on the replay. There's many of you signed up for the replay, so welcome to you as well. I don't want to talk too much because we're going to start that video because it's going to say everything I need to say. I'm going to watch it with you, and I'm also going to keep notes on what I haven't said that might be useful to add in when I come back after watching that with you. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat, but they might disappear, or I might not be able to get to them all. So you could also say, maybe write any questions you have down for me and write them in when I'm ready to read them, and I'll answer everything I possibly can. I'm just going to mute you all as well for the recording. And so what I thought I'd do, there's a couple of Aura Mediator, or there's one Aura Mediator here, so you know what to do with me, but we're going to just, what I would like for you to have is an experience of the crystal energy. So we're going to just do that together now. And what I'm going to do is just run you through a very simplistic, but very beautiful energy tool. So I just want you can close your eyes. I close my eyes too. And I just want you to arrive and settle in your body. You can do this, like just close your eyes for like a minute. And just arrive and land. And I want you to pull your energy in from everyone and everything in your life, all the people around you, all clients, kids, family, friends, acquaintances, that person that annoyed you in the supermarket, whatever. Pull your energy, your mind, your physical energy, mental energy, and emotional energy. Just pull it in like a suctioning back your power. Feel yourself filling up with energy. Nice. And I'd like you to then, yeah, send away energy that does not belong to you. Make room around you. So other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, make space. And thank you. And I'd like you to, as you watch this video with me, all about oral transformation and the theory and what happens in sessions, I would really like for you to sense, like, in your body how it feels to hear the information. And the aim is, well, actually, most people that really are attracted to aura transformation, they kind of know there's a feeling that they get, like, I need to do this. And they might not even understand why they need to do this. It's not for, just spiritual people or something. It's actually really, really grounding, incredibly powerfully grounding session where you really become present in your body and really able to handle a lot more energy and a lot more of life and have a larger, wider output of energy, action, ability to make things happen. So it's actually super grounding and really can rebuild the inner and outer structures that you live in every day. So I'm not going to say more. I'm going to start the video. I'm hoping this goes smoothly. Share. Yeah, okay, so hopefully you can see my messy. Hang on. Where is the video? Ah, there it is. And we're gonna go to the beginning. An understanding for the energy. Okay, I see. I'm repeating myself already. I apologize for that. But do enjoy. I'll be here with you. Sure. So, welcome to my talk about transformation and aura mediator courses. It has been, I think, over a year since I did the last one, which I couldn't believe when I actually looked back. I've been very busy doing lots of other things, and yeah, it's a very beautiful energy to work with. And the intention of the call is for you to have a real feel and understanding for the energy, that you, and also that this becomes like the piece of research that people can do before having their aura transformation, so that they know what it is and what's happening. And people used to have to read a whole book. We used to have to convince people to buy a book and read a book, and then they could have an aura transformation. And now we've tried to simplify the process and make it more accessible. So there is like a PDF that you can read, and then you can watch one of these videos. And so I did do a talk, I think it was November, the year, not last year, the one before. And it was 2 hours and 40 minutes in the end, with the theory and the history, my story, 40 minutes of Q&A, people just asking lots of questions, which was amazing. And so I kind of don't want to, I watched that again just to see what I was saying. And I don't really want to repeat all the bits in that again. I mean, I'm going to have to repeat the theory bit, but the idea is that I get the theory and the history and what you need to know kind of condensed, so that we can use it again and again, and other aura mediators can use it again with their clients. And also, I really want to hear from AuraTransform people and aura mediators that are joining. I think they're joining the call. This has not been planned. This is just an invitation. I've also told aura mediators that they can use this, send their clients to this call. So you might be here because of one of someone is an aura mediator and invited you, and then I would invite you to go to them for the aura transformation. And also, if you are about to train or want to train and you've invited people because you want to get going before your training, that was also an invitation. So the idea for me is this has been a huge passion of mine for must be over 10 years now. And I've really, talked about it 1,000 million times. And I've also got 30 odd videos about it. I've got, I think there's like at least 10 to 20 books by Annie Senov, the founder, about this. I've got hundreds of articles about it that I've written. So there's just so much information. It's impossible to condense really into such a short, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but to get it concise isn't an easy thing. But I wanted to do the heavy lifting and legwork for people just because I've done it so many times. I have to say my voice is going already. I just wanted to read out just to see where people are. There's some Santa Barbara, Glasgow, Devon, Dorset, more Canada, Skelmersdale, I don't even know how to say it, Skelmersdale, Devon, Portland, Sweden, Edinburgh, Michigan, wow, and Kansas, I'm sure, is being represented. I have a fan club in Kansas now, thanks to Laura, who has organized for me to train my first ever training or immediate course in America. Is going to happen in June in Kansas, and the UK one will be in September, hopefully. Well, I want it to be in September, and already people are signing up. So that's very exciting. So there's people from all over the world. Amazing. Fuerteventura, wow. Naples, Missouri, I think that's how you say it. Canada, yeah, sure, that's Scotland, isn't it? I think. Well, I'm sorry if I butchered those places. So yes, it's very nice to have you here. I think over 80 people signed up for this, so there's going to be a lot of people on the replay. And the last one I did of this, it went out, it's been watched over 800 times or something. So I'm like, oh, wow. So what I'm thinking I'll do is chop up the bits of the old one and the bits that work of this one and put it all together into like a little mini thing that people can watch afterwards. So I'm going to do my very best to be concise, but it's not my massive forte. I love this subject and there's so much to say about it. What else do I want to start with? Is there people here that are willing to talk? Maybe you could put it in the chat, just say I'm willing to talk about my experience, AT or a mediator, just so I have an idea of how much space I need at the end to like fit everyone in. That would be handy. And I'm hoping also that there might be some time for cool, thank you. And there's going to be time for some Q&As, but I'm hoping that I get what you need in. Yeah, so I'm going to say the last one went deeply into my story, like the more personal, vulnerable shares. I use my story as all the things that can go wrong with an aura, and then to describe how an aura transformation really helps with all of that. And I'm not going to do that today, or try not to do that today, because that's in the other video. Cool. So there's a few of you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 so far. Okay. And there's probably more people arriving. Who am I? That's an easy one. So I'm Sarah. I grew up in Switzerland, and I was thinking about this today, that I'm born in Switzerland, raised in Switzerland, and I'm Danish and Welsh, and this originated in Denmark. So I've ended up working with Danish and Swedish and Norwegian and Finnish people, which is interesting. And I'm Welsh too, and that's like a very, Celtic pagan kind of, very earthy energy. So actually, my energy is very much like the aura transformation energy that we work with. That's maybe going a bit too far already. But anyway, my energy is really a very good example of this crystal energy that we work with. And I really want you to get a good flavor of what this energy feels like, how does it work and why. But I want you to really connect to my transmission and what you can see visually of my energy, if you're visual in that way, and also physically. And I was just wondering if those of you that are aura mediators, I don't think there are as many as I thought would be here, but there's a couple of you. So maybe if we just take a second to connect to your connection to the crystal energy. You know what I mean when I'm saying that. Just take a moment and do that, so that the people in the room and in the replay might get a stronger sense of what this energy feels like, because it is very beautiful to connect to. And I will also do a little mini demo at the end of a little energy exercise, so you can have a real feel into that. Cool, I can feel that. That's nice. So I wanted to just say a little bit about myself, and that I was very studious. I am very studious, and I was like top of the class at school, and we didn't even know till we got all the results that I was right at the top there, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so I've always studied hard, worked hard, and really enjoyed delving deep into subjects. I was the only one that got a first in my business degree, an undergraduate. I got a master's in human resource and knowledge management. I've worked for the Welsh Assembly government, for unions, for development education centres, for charities. I've done all sorts and I had dreadlocks then too. And so I feel like I'm super grounded, practical, on the ground person that's very kind of studious and, Swiss in that way. And so I think that I wanted to say that, just to say that I really want to bring healing work and transformational energy work to be a serious profession, that people really get it and that it becomes easier and easier to talk about. Because when I started doing this 10 or so years ago, it was ridiculed. People didn't really believe it. I still meet skeptics, but I show them a before and after picture and they're like, okay, there's not much you can say except that it works. And yeah, and so I think that is a big deal to me, is that people feel it, sense it, take it seriously. And that's all of the work I do really kind of is trying to ground this sort of work, take it out of weird, mystical, woo, impossible to understand kind of language and bring it into everyday language that makes sense to your everyday life and people's everyday life. So I think that, I'm super grounded, well educated, and I know what I'm talking about. And I think I think it's fine. Someone needs to be muted. Hang on. Okay, just watch that you're not unmuting yourself accidentally. Thank you. Okay. So how did I end up doing this? I was working in all these places and doing all this work. I'm going to change the world, make the world a better place. It was very important to me to make a difference. Didn't feel like I was making a difference at all. And it felt like I was pushing papers or just like applying for fundings and doing little scrappy things. And it was just not really working for me. I was also, like an activist and in the party scene, the life and soul of the party. I burnt my candle at every end possible. Long story short, you can watch it in the other video. I kind of frazzled myself to bits. But deep but something very powerful was happening at the same time. And I think I was always destined to dissolve my own aura to nothing, because it kind of made me supremely aware of all the other timelines I'd ever lived in, or of how energy, I could see through the veil all of a sudden. It was like a rude awakening. It was scary. I suddenly could see energy. I could feel energy. I could play with energy. I could put my hands on people and things would happen. And it was just like, what is this? Like, I don't know, what this is. So I started trying to find out, what is this energy coming out my hands and that kind of thing. And I ended up on a Reiki course and doing healing on myself, but I had to, because my life was a mess. I was a mess. And you can see later on my before and after pictures that you can see tangibly where I'd got to. I was traumatized, toxic relationships, all that kind of thing. And I heard about aura transformation, and I just knew it was going to be. And I just felt it. And a lot of you that are attracted to it just know. You just know that it's going to be part of your dharma, it's part of your journey. It's either just going to be an upgrade for yourself, or you want to help other people. You want to deliver this to other people. So having the aura transformation in 2013 changed my life, like, drastically, almost, overnight. There was so much amazing stuff that went on overnight. And having an aura transformation is a beautiful process, like the session itself, but it actually keeps going and getting better and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I still have never gone backwards from that point. It hasn't worn off. It gets stronger and clearer. You become more yourself, more solid. And if you want a description of the crystal energy that I want you to sense, is that it has this sort of kind of heightened awareness. It's sharp, like truth, like clear, like someone really in their crystal energy and like embodied. It feels like their words you land with you. You can feel the person. It's very solid energy. It's a love, intelligent, balanced energy. And it had such a profound effect on me. I knew I was going to train straight away, so I did. And then within 5 minutes, I went and trained even more with Annie Senov, the founder in Finland. She was doing a planet energy course. And within 5 minutes after that, I was on an airplane sharing aura transformation in South Africa. And I started in South Africa because no one would take me seriously in England. Because I was like the lifestyle I'd been living and who I was then, and all the other things I was doing. People were just like, what is she doing? I kind of had disappeared and came back sparkly and strong and shiny, but talking about all this weird stuff. And people were like not having it really. So I ended up somehow, I know the story, but it's a bit long. But I ended up in South Africa, and I started doing talks all over the Cape Town. And I just put talks on, and then people came and people took me for face value. And I started, I did loads of aura transformations down there, and then came back to England, and then started going up and down the country and sharing it all over there and up and everywhere in the country, doing physical live talks. And then I also shared it in Canada, in Australia, got invited to Taiwan, and other places I've probably forgotten. And so it's just been a huge, big part of my life, and I really, really believe in it. And it had such an impact on me, I couldn't help but share it. It was the key to making a difference. And the difference it made in my life was a humongous ripple effect, not only on my daughter, on my family, on my extended family, my community, and then obviously all the clients and places I've been and all that kind of thing. So it's been, I feel like effective, I don't feel like I'm just pushing paper and not making a difference. But so for me, it's been incredible. And let me just say, yeah, the energy speaks for itself at that point. If people knew me before or not, there's definitely a Sarah before and a Sarah after. And I think a lot of people that have had an aura transformation can feel the same way. There's just such a marked difference about how you sense yourself and how you sense others in the world. How you sense you in your environment and you to others in the world is it's a different experience of being human. And then I got headhunted in a way from, I knew I wanted to or was going to be an instructor, but I was asked to join the team of instructors, and that was incredibly rigorous training. Like, it wasn't just, oh yeah, now you get to be an instructor. It was, you have to prove and test yourself. You have to prove that you can hold that much energy and that much transformation in an online course. in an in-person course live. So, you not only do you have all your students or people that are training transforming tremendously and becoming active in holding that energy, but then you also they're aura transforming up to 9, 12 people on the course. You have to be able to hold everyone's process. So you have to build the muscle to do that. You don't just walk in and go, I can do that. You can't be cocky with it because it doesn't work that way. You have to build the muscle in being able to do that. And so it was a good few years of doing that because I had to watch and be part of 32 people training as aura mediators before I could be certified as an instructor. And that happened like days before the pandemic. It was 10 days before the pandemic that I ran or ended the biggest training that had ever happened in the UK. And then ended up here in Scotland a few days later in an empty house, and then the pandemic started and I couldn't do aura transformations or aura mediator courses, and that's when I managed to put together all my own work, all my babies. I'm getting hot. And that you might have heard of me from that work. I do the kinesiology. I have Visibility Gateway, which helps practitioners be visible, and that was designed for aura mediators originally to help them be able to talk courageously about aura transformation. But it's actually very useful kind of business visibility and magical marketing for magical people. And there's one more of them happening before I change it completely, and that will be next month, I think. Then there's also Love Again, the Heart Retrieval Mapping Consciousness Journey, which some of you might have been on or heard about. You might have seen me talking about that. And that is also, I think aura transformation and the heart retrieval process that I've created, they work very well together in that it's teaching you all the tools you need to do the deep core wound healing, forgiveness, letting go, and all the deepest healing work that you need to do in a lifetime if you're in that growth mindset. It teaches you the tools, techniques, and ways of doing that, and holds space for you to do it. It's incredible, life-changing, amazing course. So none of it is standalone, I guess. For me, everything that I offer is because I believe in it 100%, tried and tested. It works. It makes a difference. Nothing is better than the other, if you know what I mean. I also have a course called Transmute Distortion and another one called Money Gateway. They're mostly for practitioners to help them in all, being better practitioners, but also being better at business, healing their money story, all that kind of thing. So I have lots of hats, lots of things going on, and that's why I haven't done many talks on this, but I absolutely love teaching aura transformation. It is the energy that shifts when I'm teaching here at this table. The days before the course starts, the energy is almost like a huge portal. I don't know if I want to call it a portal, but it's like a stream or opening of the crystal Venus energy opens up. Everyone is feeling throughout the whole course, people feel very alert, very crystal clear, very balanced, don't get tired really, and just feel energized and empowered and activated by the energy itself. And then at the end of the course, I have to go, goodbye now. Go away, leave me alone. And so it's just been an absolutely incredible journey to have been on. And I would say, yeah, it's just amazing. And I'm going to try and do my best to explain what it is now. Oh, first, though, I have to tell you that just enter this now as if I'm telling you a nice bedtime story or some sort of creation myth that someone's read to you. Like, you can take it all with a pinch of salt. It is, who knows what's true or not true. And what I've found is not difficult, but important to get, is that I'm talking about energy. Energy that moves every day, consciousness shifting constantly, world events shifting consciousness, collective consciousness changing, children changing. Energy is always moving, shifting, and changing and evolving. And, it is actually, it's very hard to put a flag in the sand and everyone agree that thing is called an etheric layer or an astral body or an aura or whatever. So I want you to loosen the language and the themes and the theory that you know and that I know. I'm going to teach you or talk to you about this theory and this myth, this creation myth that Annie brought for us, Annie Sinov. And yeah, so you have to, because I've had so many long kind of arguments with beautiful friends about what this means and what that means. And it doesn't really matter, to be honest. We're all talking about the same thing, just calling it different things, I think. And also, I'm going to try and, explain everything in everyday language, layman's terms, but also sprinkle in some more esoteric geek stuff for those of you that are into this stuff. So what is an aura transformation? It is a 4-hour one-to-one session in 2 parts. Part 1, 2.5 hours, actual aura transformation. You only have that once. It's a one-time thing. And then you have the balancing session soon after, and you can have as many balancings as you like into the future, but your aura transformation includes that first balancing, which is really important. It is really about people coming into their own power and grounding and physicality to really be in your body. Many people are not in the body, not really. I'll show you afterwards the drawings of auras, but most of us, or when you're in your old aura, so there's old aura and new aura, which is a bit annoying, but never mind. In the old aura, your spirit energy is far away, like hanging on for thread above you, kind of trying to show you things, direct you, and you maybe meditate for a couple of hours a day to try and talk to it, or some of you have a good connection to your higher self. Some people don't even know they have one. It's sort of up there. People have trauma. People are fragmented. People have they're disassociated. People are some people live in their minds and they identify only with the mind and not the heart so much, and not their spirit or consciousness in that way. So having an aura transformation is helping people embody their spirit energy into their body. We call it crystallizing. The aura transformation itself is beautiful, pleasant, and healing, and lots happens, but you probably won't remember loads of it by 2 years later. But the crystallization process has started from the session, the moment you had your AT. And then you're crystallizing more and more of your spirit energy over the coming 9 months to a year, but sometimes longer. And there's no race, there's no medal. No one's going to go like, woo, you made it. And I also reckon, from my understanding of my own process, is that when you have a big cataclysmic life-changing event, or move somewhere new, or whatever, something like that, your crystallization process might kind of reactivate, or you're moved to a new platform of consciousness, and you kind of have to recrystallize from there. So I don't think it's a static, once you're crystallized, you're done forever. I think it's a moving, breathing process, and it shifts with world events and things that go on, and etc. So you're learning some of the language now. What we do is, another way of looking at an aura transformation is an upgrade of your operating system. If you think about it, we were in horse and cart like 100 years ago, and now we have smartphones and satellites, and I don't know what else. So we're constantly going like, oh, I think I need to upgrade my phone every 2 years, my car every 3, my TV every so often. I'm upgrading, I don't know, like my smart kettle or something. There's like, you're upgrading everything except yourself. So I think a nice way of looking at it, an aura transformation is an upgrade in the operating system. And when I think about that, an operating system is all the energetic parts of you, how we function in the world. How do I feel about myself? How do we know if we like someone or not? By being near them. That's our auras and energies interacting, our subconscious messaging, our gut microbiome is talking to each other. There's all sorts of information. And then when you fall in love or something, is that trauma or is it spirit to spirit? And there's a lot of energetic information. It's not like, I think 10 years ago, people would be like, oh, auras, blah, blah, blah. But I think people are getting it now. Like, we have an energy field and it's important. And there are ways for it to work well, and there's ways that it really doesn't work well. And I think that over time, our operating system has become more and more, like struggling more and more to cope with the life that we're in. And aura transformation is a way, like through and past, to help you be kind of, I'm going to tell you more about that in a minute. Like just to help you align with the current energies and consciousness. I have to try and keep myself together with my notes because otherwise I go off on one. Yeah, so another part of the aura transformation story is that we are helping you upgrade your operating system to the latest consciousness available on planet Earth, which came through the children that arrived in the last 30 odd years. Interestingly, the time that aura transformation became a thing and Annie discovered it or felt it and then created the courses was the same years that I think Gene Keys or Human Design or one or both or one or the other came out. So it was like 1987 is when the indigo children first started appearing, the transition kids. And then 94, 96 was when the Annie developed the session and the courses. So, I think what's happening here is we're seeing a mass event. And aura transformation is just a slither of this expression. So I think that the whole planet is awakening. We're calling it the Great Awakening. It's been prophesized. The Mayan calendar changed. The astrological calendar changed. From is it Pisces to Aquarius, and then the main calendar ended and began again. And then I remember we were waiting at 2012 for like something to happen, like all this sort of things, this aura transformation is part of this grand awakening. And I think what we are seeing is that the whole of humanity is crystallizing. The whole of the planet is crystallizing. The whole of the planet and humanity are becoming more spiritful or more aware. That is not necessarily a pleasant experience. That means that there is more light shining into the dark corners, which is maybe what we've been seeing over the last number of years, where we're seeing all the mess and all the power imbalances and all the hierarchies. They're becoming louder and clearer. We can see it. We can't hide from it. So having an aura transformation is about bringing more spirit energy in your body. The crystal children and the indigo crystal children are born with more spirit energy. They're kind of showing us the way. And having an aura transformation is an opportunity for adults that might take 2 lifetimes or an entire lifetime to even try and upgrade their frequency to that level or to embody that much spirit energy. We're giving them a kind of shortcut to get there. Instead of next life, you can have it this life, and a bit quicker. And it's a bit of a shortcut, okay? And so okay. Is this so much? It's like I'm moving libraries around my head as I try and talk to you. Hang on. Don't want to get carried away. What did I put in that bit? Yes. Yeah. Okay. I did that bit. Okay. So there's this phenomenon that these children arrived and it was different, and people all over the world noticed it, not just Annie Senov. It was like this is like an all over the world thing, and it's not that certain children are more special than others or anything like that. It is literally that something is shifting in our operating system and the planet. Something is shifting with the planet, and people. I mean, I look at my daughter, who is a pure crystal child, and I'm like, we are. When I was her age, I was not like that at all, and I'll explain more actually why that is. Afterwards, I won't get carried away. So it feels like, imagine trying to, as a grown-up, an adult born before 1987, imagine you're like a Nokia 360, like an old Nokia brick, the original Nokias, and you're trying to get 5G and open apps, and you can't. You just can't open the apps. You don't have enough frequency, enough memory, enough bandwidth. There's just not enough anything to really operate in the latest frequencies and energies. So it's like hard and it feels clunky and heavy and too slow, and you have to one word at a time. Everything is clunky slow. And so having the aura transformation or upgrading the operating system means that you have more capacity to deal with the speed of what is going on. Okay, I think that's enough of that for a minute. So I'm going to actually share. Oh yeah, and if you have questions, please write them on a piece of paper. Don't put them in there because I'm going to lose them. Maybe write them because I'll probably answer them anyway, but in the time being. And then at the end, if there is questions I haven't answered, you can ask me at the end, and I won't lose them in the chat. But I am going to share screen. I'll make it big somehow. Is that how you do it? Oh no, hang on, it's that one. Does anyone know how do I get rid of that? Like that. Okay. Right. I want to talk about what an aura is. Oh, not like that. How do I change the page? Oh, there we go. Let me see if I can put me on it. There we go. Okay, so what is an aura? Is a good starting point for now. An aura is everything that you've ever been, all of your information, all of your traumas, all of your thoughts, all of your feelings, everything you've ever done, everything you've ever pushed out of your system into the field. Even when you're being quiet and you're having a chat to yourself, it's creating some sort of noise. It's really about how you are, everything you've ever been and done. And it includes all of your lineages, all the places you've ever been to. It includes your ancestry, your epigenetic information, your inherited information. It includes like pretty much everything. And when my eyes switched on before oral transformation and I could see people's energy fields, it was quite terrifying, to be honest. It is not, oh, glowy orange, glowy pink. Oh, you have a red aura. It's not like that at all. If you've got eyes to see, you're seeing all sorts of things hanging off people. You can see tears, holes, just, uncomfortable to see. So an aura can get incredibly messy and heavy. And if you don't know how to clear it or how to work with it or how to balance yourself, then it can get really noisy and debilitating. And then I think also our governments, our media, people that use people or that plug into people, energy vampires, narcissists, psychopaths, all of those, governments, everything, they know how to manipulate this old aura. They just know how to plug into it, how to get information into you, how to trigger fear in you. So it's a highly abused system, the old aura, whereas the new aura is very hard to infiltrate. So I'll leave you with that bit for now. And I've got a few pictures, just, you might have seen these before. I think these are Joe Dispenza pictures. I can't really remember. But just the idea is that you can have a huge impact on your aura. And, you can tell when you sit next to someone that's miserable and mean and horrible, you start feeling uncomfortable. If you sit next to someone that's smiley and shiny and lovely and, you feel much better. And, their aura is like emanating. So you can see, some people, if they can work hard to have a bright aura, and then others can damage their aura terribly. And I have to say, if you watch my other video, I talk about how messed up my aura was, and I probably did that to mine. This one, I didn't have an aura left. There were tears. I was being attacked by entities constantly as I woke up magically. It was very debilitating, very uncomfortable. And I have several videos about that stuff. But if you're interested in the more weirdy stuff. This is just another idea, that things can get in, things can infiltrate. Your aura can be, it says damaged, but it can be not like Teflon. It can be, it's easy to get infiltrated if you have any weaknesses in your energy field. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about where it's come from, just because it's a nice story of just explaining, I just need touch on it. Where does it come from? So I think in the early 90s or before, Annie Senov in Denmark was really ill. She was an astrologer and into esoteric stuff and energy work, but she had something I think called asthmatic eczema or something like that. Like when really like the skin is flaking off. She looked really old. She felt like she was withering away and disappearing, and there was no protection left. And she knew she had to pull her power back from her life, from people in her life. She had to really make a huge effort to pull herself together. And I think she did manage to heal enough, to be well enough, and actually conceived had a child. And when this child was born, she realized that the energy of this, she was a clairvoyant practitioner, so she can see the energy that this child brought I think it was with him was so bright and big energy, and it was just everywhere in the space that she knew there was something different about the children. She noticed in the hospital that all the children were like different than what she'd known her people to be. And she went into this intuitive process with a friend of hers. I think they went into like an altered state trance type of thing. And she knew she had to do something. This energy was like speaking to her, I guess. I can't, it's always not been the clearest of explanations. And the friend held her ankles and anchored her whilst she intuitively dissolved very little of what was left of her aura. And from experience of doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of aura transformations, that most people that are attracted to aura transformation don't have an energy field left. It is literally frazzled off for lots of different reasons: trauma, shock, high frequency children around you, all sorts of reasons. You could be born without much of protection in your aura. If your mother was stressed, that kind of thing. So she managed to dissolve very easily, let go of what was left of this old aura, and this indigo, we know now, indigo energy, this bright energy, kind of magnetized around her body and became a new aura. And this all kind of happened in an intuitive process. I think it was meant to happen. So it happened. It just happened. It unfolded, the process. And then she was walking around her community with her new child, and people were just like, wow, a bit like with me when people saw the shift in me from, you've seen my before and after pictures, maybe there's a big change and you're walking around and people are like stopping, going, whoa, you look really well. And people were like, can you do what you did to do it to me, please? And she had like queues of people wanting to do it. And she just couldn't handle the amount of people wanting to do aura transformations. So she had to create the courses and then start teaching practitioners. And that was like 94 or 96, something like that. And that's where it came from. And again, she knew that it wasn't just her that was picking this up. This is a worldwide phenomena, that the children were different. I have to do it like this. So I've got slides just to home in what this is. So aura transformation is a one-time energy treatment which increases the frequency in both your body and your energy system to match the energy system of today's young people. They're not children anymore, really. During an aura transformation, your old aura is dissolved and the resulting upgrade leaves you with a new aura that is perfectly suited to the new energies of today's world. And I have to say that when I had my aura transformation, a lot of the stuff that was plaguing me, or like those entities or noise, just was gone overnight. It was massive change. And because of the nature of the work, the transformational work I do and the transformational spaces I hold, it is easy for me to become a target, or anyone in my position to become a target to darker energies. So it's important to know how to work with it. And I've always noticed that people with an aura transformation are always a few steps ahead from the darker energies. So it's a lot easier just to sort of escape, but you do have to be a little bit vigilant. But I have a course called Transmute Distortion for that. So this image is going to come up a few times. So on this one, I just want you to look at it as, this is a timeline. This is old aura, this one. This is the indigo aura. This is the crystal aura. And this is the crystal golden aura. And this is traveling through time. So this is like people born before 87 are just about here. And we're going to get to the dates in a second. Hang on, let me get the dates. there. So like 1987 is your, before 87 is old soul aura people. Then we have the transition kids are right in the middle here, in between. Then we have the indigo energies about 94, 95. Then we have the indigo crystal combination people. And then we have the crystal individuals from 2009, some before, and then 2012 onwards is crystal indigo people born. We're talking about the birth. But what is the aura structure that you're born with, the operating system that you're born with? So people that have an aura transformation are sort of transition children that are between old aura and indigo and before. These people have balancings. Okay, let me just go back. So this is, this is an evolution of operating systems that we can witness in this way. I just want to check my notes that I'm doing the right bits at the right time. Yes. So when you have an aura transformation, we dissolve the old aura. And then when I had my aura transformation in 2013, I spent 6 months at least in the indigo energy as a natural progression. And then I slowly crystallized more into the crystal energy and then eventually crystal golden energy. Most people today go straight to crystal. They don't go through this indigo stage. But I have seen more and more people recently, like the odd person, having more, ending up with an indigo aura for a brief period of time. I'll explain more as we go on. And we call the people in the old aura in the third dimension or below. People in the indigo, we call them the fourth dimensional bridge. They are bridging between the old world and the new world. And they came in the middle and are like shaking things up, showing us that we need to do things differently. They have the hardest time. Indigo young people have had the hardest time because they've come in to say, this world doesn't, I can't fit in this world. Look how much bigger they are. They're like, I can't fit into the world you made, and it doesn't work for me. It doesn't feel good. And so they're kind of paving the way. They started the process for the crystal energy to really take hold. So these are very important, but they get a bad rep and they have a really hard time. So we can actually really help them with balancing and understanding more about their energy and why it's been so hard for them to go to school or to be in modern day institutions. And then the crystal children come along almost like they're the indigos are the let's break the old world, and the crystal children are very calm and cool and collected and peacekeepers. And they're like, well, can't be bothered messing about with the old world. Let's just build the new one. So it's a different focus of energy. And this represents the crystal golden energy. So what I was saying before is that there's more spirit energy entering Earth and humanity and people, and it is linked to being able to embody more Earth energies. There's a beautiful collaboration going on between Venus and Earth, and that is what an aura transformation looks like. It is like bringing heaven and Earth together. It's bringing more spirit to matter. But when you have a crystal aura, you can feel a bit serious and structured and like, for a while. And having the golden energy of the earth, the abundant life force energy of earth energy come through you like that, can bring back kind of the joy and pleasures and fun of life. So let's see. So why is aura transformation happening at this time? The Earth's frequency has significantly increased within a very short amount of time. The children of today are born with a new time energy system that has a much higher frequency than that of their parents and other adults around them. Today's adults were born with an old time energy system that is no longer optimal for the times that we live in. So I've said that. Moving into the new time is the next step in Earth's expansion and development into a higher frequency. This is also true for us humans, both in our bodies and our energy fields. And many people feel out of balance today because their old-time energy system and personal frequency is no longer in alignment with the energy of their surroundings. So we'll go through some symptoms in a bit about what's happening there. So yeah, not everyone needs an aura transformation. It isn't for everybody. We do need people in the old aura that want to stay there, potentially. And we also, some indigo people will eventually crystallize. Crystallize means your spirit energy crystallizing deeply into the body. And some indigo people will eventually crystallize and go through that process too, and some will stay there. So it's really a very personal journey of really feeling into if this is right for you or not. Yep. Okay, good. And okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit here about, so you've got the higher self, the spirit energy of the old aura is outside of the body. So imagine like a thread with your higher self, and you've been like making little highways and trying to communicate to your spirit energy, and you're like centering and meditating, trying to, feel into what your spirit is saying. And then here, the indigo people, their spirit energy is gathered around their body. So they're born with their spirit energy attached to the body, not on a string above the body, and a much bigger energy field, but it's not in the body. And what happens there is that the indigos are seen as reactive, as rebels, as highly reactive to things. Like their bodies literally go, oh, I don't like this. School doesn't feel right to me, or I can't, I'm not going to do that. They really need convincing to do things they don't want to, because their body is literally reacting to their spirit energy, to saying, no, that's not yours. That's not this is a boundary. No. So it is actually like having a giant energetic boundary that's highly reactive, which is useful for learning boundaries, but it's also can be your loggerheads with the world and with people sometimes. Crystal people have the spirit energy deep into the body. They've crystallized. So all that spirit energy that was around the body has absorbed into every cell in the body. So it's tighter, smaller, but it is less reactive. And it's people feeling very balanced and embodied and sovereign, like where your edges are, who you are, you're speaking from your truth, you're really embodied and in your body. So people here often feel very out of body. Here people feel explosive and reactive and creative and wow, and want to change the world. And in here it's a lot more contained and solid and grounded. And then here is the golden energy has then crystallized in the body as well. So these are seen as 1 to 2 to 3rd dimension, 4th dimension, 5th dimension, and beyond. And if we were to look at, so when you have an aura transformation, we are gathering your energy from all the lower dimensions. So often people, and I might have to do this with my, stop sharing my hands. So people, when they are in the old aura, tend to be in lots of different dimensions. That is something you learn as an aura mediator, is how to collect people from all the dimensions that they're in. And if you think dimensions are a bit like a lift, 1st dimension, survival energy, work the land, go in the mines, agriculture, till the, it's like very physical. There isn't anything else. Then it's mental energies, and then it's emotional energies, and then we go higher. So it's how, if you think about Vietnam and the New Age movement and all that kind of thing, there was a lot of like freedom and no boundaries. That would be 3rd dimensional energy. It's like love with no boundaries. When we go higher into the dimensions, into what aura transformation helps adults have, we have a lot more boundaries to go with the love. And it's not, we're led by fire, passion, and creativity, not by physical work and tilling the land and all that kind of thing. So we're going up dimensions when we have the aura transformation. And what happens is that people have their foot in the 1st dimension and they have their hands in the 5th or 20th dimension. Like, oh yeah, I'm really spiritual, and I do weird Kundalini activation stuff on a weekend. So you're like reaching your spirit, your hand or your spirit is like reaching far out into the high dimensions, but your body and parts of you are down in the lower dimensions because of family or where you were born or where you live or something. So people are in all these different dimensions. And what we're doing with an aura transformation is gathering them all into the fourth dimension, and then they can crystallize and go above and beyond. So what that feels like, that's quite technical, but what it feels like is that you're not dispersed over many timelines. I had that feeling when my aura was really frazzled and disconnected, and I didn't have any more protection. And I had this kind of magical awakening. I was slipping in and out of timelines all the time, and I would see past lives, and then I'd be like walking in. I'd see flashes of an ancient time of the place I was in or something. And it was debilitating and a bit scary and not very comfortable. And it also meant that my energy felt more and more dispersed as time went on. It felt like I didn't have enough energy to make things happen in my life. So having the aura transformation, gathering all your energy from all those dimensions into the one place, into this like single focus place, is really powerful to make you feel like you have tons more energy, that you're able to focus your drive, your motivation, your energy into one direction and make things happen in your life. So that's like a real key to the moving from the third dimension and above. So let me just go back. This one? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I think this is just reiterating a bit more, just that the operating system is moving and changing over time, and that this is the contentious part that people get upset about. But the old aura has what we call 7 chakras, and then the indigo has 3 chakras, and then the crystal aura has 1 big chakra. I'll explain more in a moment. So people enjoy having an aura transformation because they'll have a lot more protection of the physical body. The crystal energy is like having a brand new skin to live in. So we bring in an aura transformation, we're bringing your spirit energy into your body, and at the end, we're integrating a brand new protection crystal aura around you. I know it sounds crazy, but you can feel it happening. People feel it happening in the session, and then you walk away never having to like protect your energy in the same way that you've had to in the past. It's amazing. You can be in direct contact with your consciousness on a daily basis. And you can have a quick and smooth integration of the higher energy frequencies on Earth in your body and consciousness, meaning you'll have a faster expansion. You'll be able to keep your own energy to yourself, have stronger intuition and drive, and be in contact with your truth and your passion, aka your Dharma, and find yourself more whole and together with more energy, charisma, and joy. And agree. These numbers are really old now, because even when I trained, we had numbers similar to this, so it must be way more now. But 800 plus aura mediators, 100,000 plus aura transform people. I think we're like 5, sometimes 8. It changes depending on what people are doing, but there are not that many instructors. And what we want to do, it's been really hard to become an instructor in the past. We had to really prove ourselves and really, work for it. And now we're trying to open up the process and have people train, make it easier to train as an aura mediator, but also make it easier to become an instructor. But that comes like after you've done quite a few aura transformations and you're ready to hold that kind of energy and you understand it. Yes. So symptoms of needing an aura upgrade. So people often talk about it's hard for me to even remember now because it's like 10 years ago. But when you see my before and after pictures, you can kind of see it. There's irritability, frustration, negative mind chatter, repeating the same behaviors and patterns over and over again, feel like life is happening to someone else, feeling oversensitive to everything, even yourself, like reacting to yourself somehow, a need to self-treat, meditate, exercise, do spiritual practices daily, or you won't feel right or okay to carry on your day. And that's a really big deal, because I've so many people that come for an aura transformation talk about having to do all these lengthy practices just to be okay. And that to me is like you have an aura that is frazzled and you're needing to create like a temporary protection every day just to go out in the world. And then you kind of feel overwhelmed and collapsed by the end of the day. And I was like that too. I used to have to manage my energy field all the time, do all this stuff all the time. So I knew something wasn't right. And having an aura transformation, I have never had to do that kind of work again on myself. And I was talking to someone that had their AT a year ago, and they said that they don't meditate. They used to meditate for hours, and now they don't meditate anymore at all. And because you are connected instantly to your own spirit energy and to the source of who you are. So you don't need to create that highway to connect to your higher self like before. People often feel like life is changing at a rapid rate, or that life is happening somehow like life is happening to someone else. It's something like you're watching yourself, or you're kind of muffled, not feeling like you're really in your own life somehow, or it's just kind of happening. There's that. And a feeling that your consciousness is changing faster than you can keep up with, like the body can't keep up with the amount of frequency upgrades you're going through. So this would kind of like regulate the two. Also, people that have children, is so amazing for people that have children. Whether you're a grandparent or a parent or a teacher or you work with children, you get to meet them. You get to be in the same frequency and also have your spirit energy embodied. So you're actually in the room with the children once you've had an aura transformation, rather than them being in the room fully and you half not in the room. and also children just look at the busy old aura like, what are they doing? They're saying one thing, doing another, juggling some other emotion, hiding another emotion, masking and then behaving in a certain way. And the crystal indigo children can see right through that, and they don't get it. They don't get it. So also people do talk about skin issues, like if you have low protection in the energy field, light sensitivity, ringing ears, joint pain, dizziness, fatigue, headaches, sleep difficulties. I think that there are a lot of issues. I'm not, we can't talk about health in that way, but I think a lot of health issues can come from having a frazzled aura, having no protection left in your aura. You can't keep your energy in. There's some sort of coherence and integrity lost in the energy field. So here is my before and after pictures again. This is actually 6 months apart, believe it or not. That is me in the same house. This is I've had an aura transformation, just had an aura transformation like a few weeks before maybe. And then this is before the aura transformation. So it must be about 6 months also in between the two. So for me, that is the most like striking picture, because you can see here someone, when you look at someone that looks like this, it's like they're checked out and they're far away, they're out of their body, traumatized. It's like almost like there's no, like they're see-through somehow, depixelated somehow. And here you can see the spirit shining out of every cell in the body and the eyeballs. There's like a light shining through. There's an embodiment, there's a solidity, and you can see that my whole being is emitting more light, and I think that's more spirit energy in every cell. I've started crystallizing more and more energy in every cell of my body. So it's such a big shift. It's just it's like the best way of explaining it. I think. Oh no, this one, and there's another example. This is longer in between, maybe 5-6 years in between. But yeah, I just felt like I was getting younger and younger. I might be getting older now, like actually for real. But I can still, I don't feel 42, put it that way. I feel older. I remember feeling really messed up, and like, I actually felt like I'd failed my life. All that potential, all that hard work, all that, I was meant to do great things in my life. I was going to be a world leader or something, and I was working with the government and all this stuff. And it felt like I was fading and fading and fading. And a lot of people were really worried about me and thought I wouldn't make it. They were worried about my lifestyle and what people I was around and what I was doing with my life. And I was also worried at this point, And then there is and yes, this is aura transformation, but I have also dedicated my life to healing and healing myself and finding techniques and ways of helping people heal at a fundamental level. And the aura transformation was this kind of catapult of being highly dispersed over many different dimensions and timelines and areas of, like I was spread out somehow. And then suddenly an aura transformation brings in this incredible structure back to the system, back to the body, back to every cell. And it's bringing more light and spirit into every cell. But then, I've really worked hard to understand the healing and that restructuring of the inner self. Like that's the childhood self that was hurt fundamentally. The aura transformation helps you have the energy to heal that stuff. And the other work I do kind of gives you tools and techniques to really help you embody that at a deeper level if you wanted to go that way. But yeah, I did obsess about the stuff that my aura mediator showed me and taught me and all the tools we learned on the courses. I really went for it. I did everything they told me, and I went over and over, really reclaiming my energy. So if I use my hands, when you're dispersed over all these different timelines, like your energy and the world's energy is like spaghetti. You and people are spaghetti together. You and your environment are spaghetti together. You have no aura structure left or not much left, and it's all like tangled up. Having the aura transformation is like a boom, like a big leap into separating your power and energy from the field and other people. And then over the 9 months to a year and a bit of crystallizing afterwards, you're really reclaiming your power and your energy. That's why I look solid in that picture. And then other people's energy is out of your field. And that's that crystal ball energy that I was showing you of really being in your own power and energy, really understanding who you are and speaking your truth and not deferring your power to relationships or to powers that be or to gurus or to teachers or psychics or whatever. It's really about really deeply knowing yourself and walking your path of your truth. And that is a big shift for humanity. Oh, I just need to pull in. I'm just going to drink water. Okay. And also having the aura transformation, it was like an instant elevating my life in every direction. I remember I said this in the other video, but I laughed myself because I went home from the aura transformation and I was like, whose house is this? It's like full of stuff. It was like a hoarder's house. And I'm just like, oh my God, like what is all this stuff? So it was almost even in it like the debris, it was almost like my house represented all the debris in my aura that then had been cleared and dissolved. And then I had to start decluttering. And I literally, since then, my life is elevating every year more and more and more and more in so many ways. Back to the pictures. Let me see, is there anything else to say? No, I think that's good. Yeah, so yeah, I guess maybe I'll just undo actually before I go into that bit. Just a little bit about hearing about aura transformation, I guess. I just knew I needed it. Like when I heard it, I was like, oh my God, that's like all the pieces that I haven't been able to do on myself. Because I had burnt the candle at every end possible. I knew that I had to do something. And I did do a lot on my own. I did kind of become a bit of a hermit. I did realize I was like a healing practitioner and I had to train and stuff. I had to really change my lifestyle. But when I heard about aura transformation, it was just a big, like, oh my gosh, that's something I really need. Because even though I'd done all this work on myself, I still had really debilitating negative thought patterns, like really mean thought patterns that I was like, this is not nice. Even if I tried to remove them or work with them or train them out of me, they wouldn't shift. I still had a deep rage and anger that I couldn't forgive. I couldn't move past particular strong emotions towards certain situations in my life, even though I did all the proper good spiritual things. I praying and forgiveness and crystal, white flag and waving white flag, all the things. And it was just like this, it would ignite like lightning in my body, just a trigger like that. So it was like it was almost like I was powerless to this deeply ingrained trauma, and I didn't have the skill or tools to let it go either. But it was somehow part of my field because that thing could happen, and it would be like, like you can imagine like road rage or something. Very pink. Um, there was also realizing that I had absolutely no protection in my field. So I could walk past people and I could hear their thoughts and I could feel their energy. Or if I put my hands on people, I would suddenly go home with all their stuff, like my clients' stuff. Or, they weren't my clients and my friends at this time. But it was like, I'm sure I'm not supposed to be absorbing people's energies that I'm putting hands on. Something's not right. I've definitely blown my protection. So I knew stuff wasn't quite right. And when I heard about aura transformation, I was like, oh my God, this is it. And within a few hours, those negative thought patterns were gone, like completely gone. And I'd identified them as my like ancestral imprints. So it was like ancestors' traumas repeating very loudly because my protection had weakened. So it was really like I'd become sensitive to it, and it was really loud. And they were gone overnight. And that has happened for hundreds of my clients. But if the thought patterns are still there afterwards, it is possible that it's your own habitual thought. You've created neural pathways that you're going to have to train out of you. But some people are very lucky and it just kind of lifts off. And also some people's thought patterns are linked to the collective consciousness that's attached to the old aura, which I'll show you in a minute. And sometimes that also goes once you disconnect from the collective consciousness, which we do in the aura transformation. And that can also clear your mind. It was an incredibly eerie few weeks of like, wow, it's so quiet. And lots of people talk about how quiet it is. And then it kind of can get noisier. And then you join like crystal gatherings or you talk to another aura transform person and you'll see that you're mutually balancing each other and your mind clears and the noise goes again. So it does help to remind yourself that you've had an aura transformation, that you can work with your energy in that way. I remember then as well, about a week after my aura transformation, I was like waving the white flag of peace and forgiveness to these particular group of people. And it was like I was able to, it was like being completely neutral to very difficult energies and emotions. And I couldn't believe it. I'd tried everything. And then suddenly it was like within a week or two, I'd found this deep sense of peace in myself. Like if you're stepping every day into more and more of who your higher self and spirit energy really is, it is much easier to reach these states of, peace and forgiveness and lightness and not carry boulders on your shoulders. My daughter noticed within a few days. She was like, wow, you're in the room, Mum. And it was like she was looking at me like, like, oh. And a lot of people will notice that children notice that you haven't. I have to warn people after an aura transformation that children might stare at you, or even adults might stare at you, and they don't know why. But children are like, are you a giant child? They just don't really know how you managed to have a big child's aura. And there was one time actually a traditional like generational psychic. So she was like she'd been a long line of psychics. And I just walked past this lady and she looked at me and went, why do you look like a child? She could see that something was off, but it was very unusual. She hadn't seen an aura like it, but she thought I was a kid. So, it made sense that we look like the children of the day. This was years ago. What else happened? Started decluttering. People often send me pictures of all the decluttering and the filing they've done within a few weeks of having their aura transformation. And then the really powerful bit was that feeling of failure and that I was dispersed and that I'd messed up and that I didn't have the energy to make anything happen. That was like suddenly a very different experience. It was almost like this, like that. And then all I could hear was what my spirit knew we had to do. And my dharma kicks in and my like motivation, drive and focus. Like I'm not dispersed. I'm not scattered. I'm not losing energy. I'm not having to fight my own aura and everyone else's. And all I can do is, all that is happening is I'm focusing on what I know is my path and my passion and my mission. And for me, it was easy. It was aura transformation. But for other people, it's other things. But it was, a tremendous shift. And within months, like I was trained, had a website. I'd built a business. I'd never even run a business. I had no idea what I was doing, being self-employed and HMRC and all that stuff. I was just like, but and building a website and suddenly, putting myself out there and having a flyer and traveling the world, teaching it, talking about it. It was a big deal. And to go from like almost in the gutter and might not survive to that, and to this, it's still like, whoa, even when I look at those old photos, I'm like, oh gosh, I really did descend into the depths and the pits. Yes. Yeah, and you feel like an arrow on fire. That is definitely a feeling of like being unstoppable somehow. And that burden that you can see in my old pictures, really lifted. And that first few months of your aura transformation, we call it like period of grace for starters. Like we don't know how it's going to react for you and what's going to, what's going on in your life. What's the most important thing your spirit's going to decide to do? Is it going to put you to sleep because you're knackered? Or is it going to make you declutter the house or do your filing? Or is it going to make you go and, I don't know, do the split up with someone, move house? I don't know, you just don't know. And you're just like, oh. And so period of grace is like, okay, might be a bit washing machine-y, but it might also, at the same time, you're feeling all the amazing things happening. So yes, there's a bit of a washing machine or putting you on the right path, but there is also all the amazing things happening simultaneously. So you kind of period of grace. You're like, okay, I give myself grace. And some people are like, I don't know who I am anymore. Like, how do I operate here? What am I doing here? And what's this, So you have to recalibrate and take a moment. And some people just feel incredible. And it is like that dangling carrot. Like, you're going to feel incredible. Like, the best you're going to feel with your spirit in your body and feeling balanced and not irritated by the world and, getting on with your stuff, being really here, really feeling yourself, seeing it. You're like, oh my God, I'm in my body. Having that, you're, so it's like this, like how do I put that? Like like the carrot dangling, like this is how it could feel. Like it's going to feel this amazing, but you do have a little bit of healing work to do and stuff. Oh, no worries. Take care. So you can't cheat your karma and your own life lessons and what you came here to learn. So you will still learn that, but you're going to have more energy to do so, more grounding to do so. So those bits aren't always pleasant, healing rage, healing pain, healing traumas. Finding yourself in the core wound often means collecting the parts of you that were hurt. So there is this amazing thing happening, but there is also what we call an emotional detox or old stuff coming up. So if your spirit energy is descending into the body and creating more light and space in every cell and emitting from every cell, then also it's going to displace anything that is not you and that isn't meant to be in your body anymore. And sometimes we're holding the boulders of our ancestry and we're holding all the energy of our, there's past life traumas as well, but the ancestry and the collective and your ex-partner's stuff, and you're carrying all this stuff you don't need to carry. So in the aura transformation, we're dissolving the old aura, which is helping you kind of clear the cache, the cookies, control, alt, delete all the noise and all the stuff that actually isn't yours, so that you can really work with what's yours. And doing that work can be slightly unpleasant, but also is so rewarding, and you would not regret it once it's passed. And all that stuff's coming up as a final showdown. It's going like you can't cheat it and skip it and just delete it because it's yours. It's your thing. But you're going to have more energy and heart to really feel it. And talking about heart, when you come into your aura transformation, that first 6 months or something, for me, I could feel my heart energy just expand and expand and expand and expand. And I was like, oh my God, how much is it going to go? It's a pretty trippy experience of feeling. My heart was probably locked away in a little Swiss cupboard somewhere. And then now it's like massive. And it's a lot to take in, but it's, people respond to you completely differently when you're in your heart energy like that. Okay. Oh my God, what time is it? It takes longer than I wish, but it's just the way it is. Okay. So this is the old aura, very briefly. I go into this. How do I go back? So, just briefly, this old aura, we dissolve it in the aura transformation. And for most people, it's very easy to dissolve because there's nothing left of it. So this is the protective layer around the body. This is what kind of keeps you put together and makes you have like almost like an immune defense, defense system to other energies coming in. And most people's are frazzled drugs, alcohol, shock, trauma, accidents, young children trying to raise your frequency. So kind of frazzled. The astral body is that thing I told you that can get easily plugged into. So this is how your ancestral energies are plugged in, how your lineages are plugged in, how entities plug in, how media and government go, oh, just push and pull that, how thought forms impact you, all through the astral body of the aura. It's that like perforated edge there. So I call it the universal plug socket. Anything can kind of plug in. And that's what it's hard work to manage, or you could spend forever doing healing workshops and clear this bit and clear that bit and clear this bit, and then you go around and you find more as you go around. And I think that the old aura is like 26,000 years old, and it probably was very efficient and great operating system back then, but now it doesn't work as well, and it's not functioning in the way we need it to. It also has these 7 chakra points, which will merge in the as you crystallize, and in the aura transformation. And I suppose a way of looking at this is that the upgrade I've done to Annie's Senov's work, is that yes, I think we still have our chakra system in the body. So with the kinesiology work I do, and working with the nervous system and the endocrine system and the core wounding, and like just having a physical body, we do have, I think they're called plexi. So your nervous system and endocrine system and spine, they link up in like these networks within the physical body. So you do have a throat energy center that is linked to your nervous system and your endocrine system, and then the same with the heart and the adrenals and etc. So I think we still have the energy centers in the body, which some people are adamant that they can still see our energy centers after aura transformation. I think it's true that you can work with them in the body, but the difference with the aura transformation and the crystal energy is that you have the one heart chakra. They have merged into one. So the energy field, the energy centers projecting into the aura are simplified. So it's a lot easier to juggle. Whereas in the old aura, you're constantly juggling this one, and this one, and that one turns off, and then that one's on, and then you've over amplified this one, so that one turns off again, and then you're like, oh God, and then you're anxious, and this one's throwing you off. And it's just, I've never met anyone with a perfect energy center, chakra center thing ever. So I was really struggling keeping mine in check. And also here's the lower mental layer, and that is connected to the collective consciousness, which I'll show you shortly. So in the aura transformation, we are literally dissolving all of these layers and all of that information that you don't need, that is not your spirit, it's not your highest self. And it disperses you, and it's a lot to manage, and it's hard to get to your core wound healing for yourself because you're constantly managing all the stuff in this energy field. So it's like the Control Alt Delete that I was talking about. And yeah, I think that'll do for that. And this is like the before. This is when you're in the old aura. So you've got your ancestral patterns, feeling irritable, oversensitive, indecisive, mental chatter, karma, procrastination, confusion, all that stuff I've sort of described. And here is what happens when you move into the new time energies, or if you were born a new time person, or if you have an aura transformation, you're more feeling empowered, like speaking from the heart, feeling what brings you passion and drive and fire, much clearer vision, much easier to speak your truth, much easier to access your joy, find your purpose, be more present, easier to prioritize, boundaries, much stronger boundaries. This is just to tell you that these people are 35 years and older. These people are 27 years and older. These are 18, about 18, and then these are 13. And a little bit about, let me just see. So there's one thing here about having an aura transformation. This is just a side, really. You have an aura transformation, and then you move through either very quickly or not at all into the indigo, into the crystal. And this is like basically having a very strong boundary. And if you've never had many boundaries or no protection, then you don't actually know where your boundaries are. Like you have to learn them as much as all the people around you. So there is that can be quite fun, the first few months of figuring out that you have boundaries, and your voice will go, no, I don't want to do that, or no, you can't do that, or no, no, that's not right for me. So, and for some people, that's why they end up in the indigo phase first, because they have to learn what they like and don't like, or what they are and not are, or what they need aversion therapy. They need their spirit energy reacting for them until they learn what is a yes and what is a no, and what is truth and what is not truth. And here it's a lot easier to manage. So the indigo aura, that, as I've already mentioned, is the spirit energy wrapped around the body, and they have three energy centers. So in an aura transformation, we don't decide how many energy centers you're going to have. You're going to leave with the ones you need and that have merged in the energy field. So people feel them merge. Some people have a mild headache, but it's very rare, like a 5% or something, and it's not for long. It's just in the session they'll feel like a pressure on the head or on the chest. So you can actually feel it happening. Um, and yeah, these people are seen very creative, very bright, and you can tell an indigo person. And if they transition between old aura and indigo, they have one foot in each world. That's tough, but you can we have to decide on a case by case basis whether they're going to have a full aura transformation or if they're going to only need a balancing. And you can tell because when you describe the old aura to them, they're like, oh yeah, I do have all of that stuff, or I picked that up off my parents, or I have all, they will feel it and you will sense it too if they need a full aura transformation or if they need a balancing only because they're more indigo. And here, one big heart chakra, basically, if you want to see it that way, is the heart chakra. All those chakras have merged into one big heart chakra. And you've got this balanced body. And what's beautiful about the crystals in the new aura is that it's a very love intelligent, balanced energy. Like your whole field starts to feel more structured and clear and crystal clear. And the reason why that is so beautiful is that it's very balanced in the elements, the fire, earth, water, air, and in the masculine and the feminine. It's a very balanced, love intelligent energy that matches earth energy, which is why we end up with this beautiful Venus crystallization of the aura with the earth energy integrated within the body. It is like this amazing match of energies that are equal. Like Earth is very balanced in the elements. It has all the elements. Some planet energies don't have all the elements. So Earth has all the elements and the masculine, feminine integrated, and so does the Venus energy. So it's this beautiful collaboration, like heaven on earth, of really being in your body, making things happen. And when you're in your body, you can really make things happen in the material world. If you've been out of body and disconnected, it's very hard to make things happen in your life, like make your business work or have an idea and take it into action. Like I struggled with that massively. And then suddenly I was like, bang, 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 I couldn't stop making things happen because I was connected to the physical plane. Okay. So this is very brief, just to show you that the lower mental layer, the thing that looked like a halo, is connected to the collective conscious, is what connects you mentally to the collective consciousness. So the collective consciousness is very loud in your head, partly those like loud mental chatter, people feeling very full, kind of feeling swampy, being like really feeling the collective, everyone being kind of entrenched into the emotions and feelings and thoughts of that. So in the old aura, you're connected to the collective consciousness that way. In the indigo aura, you're connected to the collective consciousness via the spirit and the body. That's where that really deep. So the person is feeling their spirit react to the collective. Ooh, that's not for me. I like this. I don't like that. I can't do this. I will do that. That kind of loving something and hating something. And that's how, they're reacting to the collective consciousness. Whereas the crystal aura is disengaged. During the aura transformation, we disconnect you or disconnect the lower mental layer from the collective consciousness, which is a humongous relief. It means that you are more in your own energy. You can hear your own thoughts. You can hear your own spirit. You can stand in your own power, and you're not pushed and pulled or attacked physically or mentally by the collective consciousness. I can tell you now, people are like, oh, but I love the collective consciousness. But I'm like, well, you can still look at it and engage with it, but you don't have to wear it and react to it all day. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be disconnected from it. This, very simply put, is that this looks like a terrible thing, and it's not at all. What I see this as is that some people that don't need an aura transformation or don't want an aura transformation, they will never quite see the full size of someone that is in the crystal or indigo aura. But that is the same as being in a relationship with someone that has different hobbies to you, or that never really understood your spiritual side or something. So it's not bad. It doesn't make you incompatible. Love is love. Spirit and love, spirit to spirit love, can happen with or without an aura transformation. And, it's not going to make you leave your partner that you love. You know what I mean? And it's just going to mean that there's a little part of them or a part of you that is like maybe private, or that just doesn't get seen in that way. But there will be other people in your life that will see those bits, or other aura transform people or crystal people or whatever. And then there's this beautiful feeling of energy balancing. So the new aura, the crystal aura, it's like a self-regulating, self-balancing fountain. You constantly are regenerating and regulating yourself. And when two crystal people are in the same room, they're doing that with each other. They're like copying each other. And it just feels really lovely. So that's why every month for about 5 years, I've been doing crystal gatherings where we come together and we talk a bit and see what's going on. I feed back information and energy, and then we do some like energy balancing at the end together. Like we close our eyes and we move energy in our bodies to, align, reconnect, feel more balanced. Having an aura transformation is one way of looking at it, is like having 20 years of self-development in a very short period of time. But this is saying that you can't cheat. You're still going to learn the same stuff that is your stuff to learn. It's not like erasing your karma and your blockages. It's a rapid shift, but it is also clearing through a lot of the stuff you don't need to be working with. It's not really yours to hold in that way. I don't think we need to do that today. Benefits: daily clarity, protection, much better overview of your life. You feel a lot less bothered by stuff that you used to get triggered by. Your intuition drive starts to cooperate, resulting in more energy, ability to prioritize and focus on what you choose to be involved with, self-confidence and inner peace, less troubled by challenges coming from your surroundings, increased inner joy, expanded awareness and discernment of others' agendas, easier openness with others without being on guard, convey a more clear feeling for your personal standpoint in life. Like it's easier to just know what your opinion is, I guess. Improved ability to enjoy living in the present and rapidly manifest the reality you always wish for. It does not solve and fix and erase all your problems. It is not for people that want saving from a mess they're in. It is going to give you more energy and grounding so you can find new solutions, but it's not going to, erase your problems all overnight. It's giving you an ability to deal with them in a new, different way. So just briefly, in an aura transformation, we're dissolving the old aura. Sorry, that's the second part. we start with the healing phase, which is the first hour or so. And in that, we're really looking at your existing energy field and what you've got around you. And we're really, the crystal energy is moving through your body. People feel that kind of tingling up the legs. It's quite a special feeling. And that crystal energy is going to lift up anything that needs to be seen or felt or transmuted and loved. And often it's things that you thought you've already dealt with a long time ago. You're like, oh, wow, that's still there. It's almost like it can get to the deep scars in our field or in our bodies and help them lift and heal. It's also helping you really claim your energy, and your spirit and your power, like really pull your energy into yourself and also help you make space around you from energy that is not yours, including ancestral stuff, stuff you've inherited, stuff that's lurking in the fabric of who you are. And then when you're full of your own energy, we then dissolve the old aura. And that, as I said, is very simple. It's often like blowing a leaf off a table and very easy to do, but we're dissolving the etheric, astral, lower mental layer. And that's when something really powerful happens, which is there is no more barrier between you and your spirit energy. So your spirit, your higher self, starts to come into the body, and it is unique. Every single moment I've had with a person to help them embody their spirit energy is unique to them. Like the flavor, the feel, the texture, the pattern of energy, you can really feel it come in. And it is like everyone's spirit is like a fingerprint, it's like unique to you. And you learn so much. It's such a privilege, it's an incredible honor to be there in those moments. It's like the room is filled with your spirit and peace and like just amazing information. And it's a moment as well where for the next, we call it expanding consciousness phase, you're going to be expanding more and more with your own consciousness and gifts and spirit and energy that you've not been able to connect to probably for 26,000 years or something. But it's basically more and more of everything that makes you who you are, that you might have not had access to, is coming into the body. We call it packets coming in. They don't all open immediately, but there's a lot of information that you get to expand and gather, and it will open as, in time. Like stuff for me is opening now that, didn't open 10 years ago because I wasn't ready for it, or it wasn't the right time. So then the expanding consciousness phase is kind of blissful. People would kind of sat and like all of this beautiful energy coming in that is you. And then at the end, we integrate the new aura, the balance body. And that happens very quickly. It's pleasant. It doesn't hurt. None of this hurts at all. And then we make sure you're really grounded and we let you go. And then you come back for your balancing. And the balancing is really important because it's helping you, and it's full of tools and techniques and ways for you to work with your own energy. But we're checking, you come back a few days later and we're checking, how have you settled in? Have you landed in your body? Have you, are you trying to escape again like you used to? Or, what's going on? It'll present a lot of your habitual patterns and behaviors and thoughts kind of thing. And then we help you really ground and balance and make sure it's all settled. And then we explain and work through your fire, water, earth, and air and how to balance them. And you get so much information about who you are, what's going on in your life, what are your next steps. It's learning a communication tool with your own body and your own consciousness so that you can know what to do with yourself when you don't feel right, for example, or if you want deeper information about yourself. We also go through a magical process of integrating your masculine and feminine energies, which is a really tangible experience of feeling like your spirit. I don't know, it's a feeling, I call it cellular self-love. It's like feeling self-love at a very deep level in the body, and it feels like a tingling and activation all over the body, and then we let you go because it's the nicest feeling to end with that. And you can have future balancings, and we can go through your elements again and go through what's going on in your life, go through the masculine and feminine. But sometimes if I go for a balancing now, I use it to like reality test different realities that I'm wanting to, like, should I go down this path or that path? Or if I have a big chunky bit of healing work I want to do, I'll ask for someone to do balancing on me. So you can freestyle your balancings as well. But they are worth having. I probably had quite a few in my first year, partly because I was training as well. But I would recommend keeping up with those at least once a year, like an MOT. That's like where you check your car once a year, an MOT in the UK. The crystallization process then carries on for 9 months to a year, and you kind of have an inner crystallization of your elements and an outer crystallization in your life. So it's almost like you have to learn how to balance your fire, your water, your earth, and your air in your body. And then you're going to learn how to operate with your fire, earth, and air in your life, not all in like a linear order, but it's almost like your crystallizing is really learning to be grounded, solid, and balanced in your body. And And that's an amazing feeling as well. So this used to be the book people used to have to read. Now you can watch the videos, watch one of the videos, or read the PDF. And there's other books too. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a second. But there's these other books too. That if you were to train as an aura mediator, you'd want to be reading. These are not essential reading to people that just have an aura transformation, but I was hungry to read everything. But the Golden Age, Golden Earth book is the latest book that she wrote. And it is really all about the golden energy of the earth and the crystallization process, but also it is like personality profiling by looking at different planet energies, but it's not like traditional astrology. It's a bit different. It's very interesting. I really enjoy that one. And then These Crystal Human Part 1 and Part 2 is about lots of case studies of people crystallizing after their aura transformation. The Get Your Power Back Now and the Little Energy Guide are also really useful for young adults or parents of young adults and children. And it's just helpful for adults too. It's just lots of little tips and guides to how to work with your energy and stay balanced. And it's useful for your journey. And I'm just going to quickly talk about the Aura Media courses. And I will talk about them myself. So hang on, I'm going to come back. Thank you for that. There we go. Hello. Just checking if people are still here. Okay, so I'm not sure how long the session will go on because it depends on if people have questions or not. And what I'm going to do is just pause for a second because I needed my screen and I couldn't do that whilst you were watching, I don't think. So just give me a second. Let's go for a wee break or something and then we'll come back. So I'm just checking, do people have questions and do any of our aura mediators want to speak? Hello? Wait, hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can pin you. Where are we? I think I have to. Where is it? Is it like this? Yes, it is like this.
Hello, everyone. Well, I'm a newly trained aura mediator of Sarah's. I've just come back from Scotland, and I just want to
You're
say
in Germany and your name
I
is
am.
Louise.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Hello. Yes. I thought it might say my name on it. Yes. So what would you like to know?
I would love just to, I really, really like talking to aura mediators in this context because I found that quite hard to listen to myself for that long. Like,
Oh.
oh my God, I feel like I want to do it all over, like re-record a whole talk that is just like no extras, just talk about the things exactly. I'd love to do that, but I also, love to fluff and expand and but so I think it's really great for people to hear from an aura mediator, for example, like what did you notice from your aura transformation? Like where were you? What happened, after your aura transformation? I remember some bits of your story, like the slow burn, because some people have an instant, like, whoa, things are really different and I've got to integrate a lot. And others do have a slower burn, and that's absolutely fine. But maybe you could talk a little bit about that. And then of course you could talk about the beautiful experience we've just had for the last 7 days. I mean, you came home on what, Monday? Did you?
Yesterday. I came
Oh,
home
yes, you came back
Yeah.
yesterday. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fresh. We're fresh.
Yeah, it's very
Yes.
fresh. Okay, so if I think about how I was pre-AT, I was someone who was not in my body, who was kind of always off, doing some spirit work and pretty loosely connected to earth reality in a way, that has changed drastically. Like I just was writing some material for myself today, and one thing that almost the biggest thing for me is just I now know what it feels like to have a body and to be in my body, completely in. And I love the energy sorting practice because I do that a lot. Even I've been aura transformed since 2022. So
You flew
um,
from, or you came from Germany to Switzerland when I was with my family.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Got on a train because I was one of those people that just knew. Like when I saw
You
a
just
talk
know.
you
Yeah.
gave, I just knew. I just went, right, that's it. That's something I'm going to be doing. And so it wasn't that long after I heard your talk where I contacted you, Sarah, and just said, I really, 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 really would like to have this process. And I mean, I just, as someone who's known that I've got a lot to offer, and I just was really struggling with that kind of part of my life, like getting myself on earth and creating things, and that's taking off now. I feel like I have crystallized now. So, but I took a while. It was a little bit of a slower process for me. I did go through some sort of big ups and downs at the beginning of the crystallizing, and then I've also gone through like just the
Do you
being
mind,
with
like,
you.
how bad is this up and down? Like, can you
So
kind of,
if I think of like big ups and downs, like so I went through periods of intense body pains, and I would say looking back, that's probably typical because I wasn't in my body, and so my body was going, "Hi, I'm over here. Can we just get in here now?" You know, and I could really feel the crystallization process through all the different body parts. Like I could really feel,
Mm.
oh, we're working on this bit at the moment, and then that would kind of heal itself and balance out. And then it was like, you know, and yes, I had to put in some things. Like I had to go see a massage therapist if things were just getting atrocious. So, but I was really aware that my spirit was directing the attention to different parts of my body. And then I would take necessary action if it was like, you know, oh, I need supplements. And like, but that wisdom was coming from inside me and not from someone else going, oh, you must do this and you must do that, which I think is wonderful. To have that really solid connection to your inner wisdom is just such a gift. It's like to trust it as well. And that's been huge. But so to be like things like body pains or just like, you know, doing the decluttering, making, and that's been like I've gone through phases of that. And I'm even doing that again because there's a big decision to go back to my homeland in Australia. And so there's things like that that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have actually gone. I mean, even though it was a sort of constant in my life, that longing, I wouldn't have had the guts to go, come on, let's just do it. I feel like everything just becomes clear and you just have this sense of what works, like what you had said in your video, Sarah, what is part of your path and what isn't.
Mm.
And that just gets sorted nice and cleanly. It's almost like the energy sorting. It's just you're just sorting out the bits that don't belong to you anymore. And I've really experienced that, you know, so
Yeah, and it's really, people don't particularly like having to make big changes in their life. That's the bit
mm,
people say, oh, I had big ups and downs, and it's because they had to move house, move city,
yeah.
like shift relationship or do something rather humongous that is never been up high on the, I love this about life. So
Mm-hmm.
people sometimes do struggle in terms of having to deal with big life changes. And
Yeah.
for me, it was a bit of that and the decluttering and all that, but it was really, I cried, I think, every day for about 3 months. Just kind of the realization of how small I'd made myself, or how I'd damaged myself, or how I'd been looking for love in all the wrong places, or, so filling up was just like, watering a sponge at first, I think.
Mm,
Like it's hard to absorb that much energy when you've had so little.
yeah.
And I would say with the body pains, I mean, that's not something I hear that often, but I
Okay.
imagine for people that were very far at their body, it's maybe parts of the body that are like, yeah, undernourished or something, and it's like
Mm,
difficult to absorb because the aura transformation is a super physical process. It is an energy thing that we do and we switch it on, but actually it's very physical. Like that's why you see like people's faces and the skin, like the if you do look after yourself, you start to really enliven every cell. And that's a physical thing. You need energy to do that. You can't be like running on half empty, not drinking water, not sleeping, not blah, blah, not doing all the things you need to do as a human. If you don't do them, then the aura transformation is like harder. Or if you're sedentary, I've
Yeah.
had people just, that have a difficult, uncomfortable kind of process because they're just sat going, when's the change going to happen? And then there is stuff coming up and their crystallization process is happening. You can't like, it's not, even with people that ignore it completely, don't know what's going on and don't do anything about it, it's still happening. It's still going to happen. But it can feel very uncomfortable if you sat there and you have to like feel every little bit of stuff that you haven't processed come up. You would
Mm.
likely be like, what have those aura mediators done to me?
Mhm.
Kind of thing. So I guess that's where the physical pain might be in. Yeah, and I
It
think
was
that,
also just thinking about the physical pain as well, just then, because I remember at the beginning, I had enormous energy, like at the beginning. Like it was just like, I mean, even when I got home last night, it was the same. It was just like power, energy. I would have the feeling that I could have run marathons, that I didn't need to sleep anymore because I had so much energy. And then I feel like all of that energy was just a bit much for my body to integrate it in one go. Like, so in the beginning, I feel like that could have been a part of it as well, because I just felt like this, like, oh my God, like, I could do anything. And I feel like my body was going, oh, wait a sec, that's just not
yeah,
so fast. But, and even last night, like I hardly slept. I was just like, oh, wow, like it's all happening, like, woo.
yeah.
So
And
that
what's
does.
really exciting about you going to Australia, if anyone on the replay, I mean, there are like about 50 people that signed up for this call, so they're going to be watching on the replay, I guess. But um, I know that Martha, that just trained with us, is going to Australia for 3 months. So I was in Australia before COVID, did loads of aura transformation. So there are people out there, but no aura mediator. Then Martha's going out there for 3 months to go see her daughters that are out there. And then you're going to move there. So it feels like Australia and aura mediation, and that is ripe over there. So I'm really excited for your
Yeah.
journey. Do you want to share anything about your experience of the training?
Loved it, loved every minute of it. It was just so
Not for me, for
wonderful.
other people, because
Yeah, like it was
no, we
just so
loved it.
wonderful. Because there's a lot to learn, like, and it's quite like quite a packed program, if you want to say. But it's just the way Sarah teaches you is so grounded, and she just keeps it really, like, it was super fun, heaps of fun. We laughed a lot, and there was just this thing of, I think the value in it is just diving straight in with actually doing the aura transforming and the balancings. Because as hard as that feels in those moments of like, oh my God, I'm actually doing someone's aura transformation right now. Like, you were there in all the crucial moments, and we were doing it in pairs. So you're not on your own. You're not like just shoved in on your own. But there was a very good preparation, like building up for that, So the first couple of days were really heavy on theory, and then we got into it. And I just found it wonderful. Like, it increased my confidence. I went through my little woo confidence wobble, but it was just so, so wonderful. Like, just to, I mean, you really do experience what Sarah was talking about. There's these incredible magical moments of, feeling someone's spirit coming in. I did experience that a couple of times clearly. And I don't know what else that I can say, but I just would highly recommend it if anybody's already aura transformed, or really is feeling like, oh, maybe that is my next step. Like, I honestly feel like for me, it's been so wonderful, because I've always wanted to offer something that's completely in line with all the things that I wish for humanity. And this feels like something that fits that. It ticks those boxes for me.
Yeah,
Like,
good for me.
it's in line with where we're going as a human evolution. It's just, and it's so powerful in that it's not woo woo. It's about your practical life, and it's about you living your spirit, but on earth, and being able to make a difference. And that's just huge. That's my dream, So I'm so excited
Oh,
to.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll talk a little bit about the courses if you want to. Is there anything else you
Yeah.
want to share before? I'll.
Not really. I'm just, yeah, just so, no. just do it.
Yay!
If you're
Thank you.
feeling the call, definitely check out the preparation stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Um,
you.
I'm going to there we go, that button. Okay, thank you, Eloise. And I've seen that. I don't know if Gabriella is up for talking in a moment. I'll just introduce the courses a little bit because I said I'd do that at this time. And then if anyone else wants to ask questions, I'm not sure if there are questions. I haven't even opened the chat. Hang on. No, I don't think there was anything there. Okay. So a little bit about the courses. They are it's like pretty life-changing course for yourself. The first part of the course is, well, you've got reading and prep to do before we actually come to the course. And then you have this 3 hour and sometimes over 3 hour, what we call the grounding session. And it is basically, I suppose, a bit like Aura Transformation times 10 or Aura 2.0. And you are, I mean, we go through quite a lot of processes in that, but you're basically prepared to become an aura mediator. You are like an aura mediator after this session, actually. But obviously you don't know what you're doing, so we don't recommend trying. But there is something like your aura becomes the like the photo what the structure that your clients then photocopy off of, just like crystal children balancing their family members. There's a photo like crystal people walk around and they photocopy off each other to balance each other. So when you're in a room full of crystal people, you feel really balanced. Like you can, when all of us were here at the table, like the six of us, seven with me, there's hardly, there's just crystal clear clarity. No one is tired throughout the day, really. It's just a very different way of feeling when around other people. There's very little like interpersonal weirdness. You just speak about it and it clears. There's a lot of love and respect for people. And that's kind of your aura is a self-generating aura when you have the crystal aura, self-generating, self-balancing. And then crystals will balance people around them without having to do anything, without trying to help, without trying to do anything. So your aura is prepared in that session. And we're also bringing you to your own platform of consciousness, which is very much a place of empowerment, where you feel like a sense of, I don't know, belonging, grounding, much stronger than you maybe ever experienced. And we really disconnect you from the collective consciousness more than we can manage in an aura transformation. And after an aura transformation, you walk around, your family members, your community, wherever you live is just old-time aura everywhere. There's the old karmic stuff, the ancestral stuff. It's all hanging around. So what we're doing in this grounding session to create aura mediators is really kind of permanently shifting you out of that in a much stronger way. And so everyone leaves those sessions. People were like skipping out the door at the end of those sessions, and they were let loose in my little Scottish village. And then when everyone came back on the first day of training, I could feel the strength in everyone. And this, for me, the course we just had, I have never felt so like in flow, relaxed and grounded. I've not been exhausted. It's taken me like half a day to recover. Usually it takes a week, because it can be really intense and you're holding a lot of transformational energy, but something's shifted or clicked or something. And I just really enjoyed it, and the group was fantastic. Um, and what happens there's a mixture of theory. You're going to be understanding the bones of an aura transformation, obviously. And then you're straight in there with the doing practice sessions on people, because actually what's happening in any session is that someone's spirit or higher self's true essence is coming into the body and unfolding in and around them. So you are like a midwife, I guess, midwife or doula to people's spirit into their bodies. So that's what I feel like I've been doing for uh, 10 years now. Really it's like the most honorable job. It's just an incredible job to have. Like, if you really are out there wanting to help people, this is like incredible way of helping people. It's helping people become their true selves. It's helping people land in their bodies, maybe for the first time ever in their life, or back into their bodies if they tried to get out of it at some point. You're helping people really unfold into their true essence so that they can express themselves and become more visible in the world, be more seen in the world. And what's happening when all your spirit energy is coming into the body is that it's knitting with the physical body, the matter, the earthy bit of your body, the physicalness. Your spirit, your visions, your dreams, who you came to be is sort of knitting in with your body and really landing on Earth. And when that happens, it's spirit and matter coming together. That's where like creativity and ideas can actually become manifest. So if you're someone with like, lots of creativity, but it's always been hard to kind of like make things happen or finish things, or it can really alter that quite fundamentally, having an aura transformation on its own. So it's the same with, becoming an aura mediator. There is if it's really your calling, there's a tremendous sort of pull towards putting it out there in the world. And another passion of mine to go with this aura mediator course is that I realize a lot of aura mediators have a lot of kind of visibility wounds and money wounds in the healing arts. So I have courses to support people in becoming visible with this sort of out there work. It isn't the easiest thing to sell because in a way you're having to educate your clients. And what we're doing over the last, I don't know, 5, 6 years has been updating a lot of the materials, the videos, free PDFs instead of the books. The course materials being rewritten. It's like way more robust. We're just building on this course every year, and it's getting better and better and better and better, and giving people a lot more confidence and ability to make a success of it. Like someone I trained, I did an aura media course and trained 6 people in America in June this year. And one lady there, I know, I don't actually know, I haven't talked to everyone, but I know one of them has done, 12 plus aura transformations already. Someone that was on our course, Martha, that's in Scotland, she actually has a waiting list of 34 people already to do aura transformations now. So she's going to be very busy. She's going to be a bit stiff, I think, after when you sit there for ages doing aura transformations. That's the only downside, is that it is quite a long time of sitting if you're doing multiple in a day. One a day is cool, but when I've traveled different parts of the world and done many, that's the only thing. You don't get tired doing an aura transformation. You don't get like drained. You're not like losing of yourself. You are staying in your energetic integrity, and the people are kind of photocopying and unfolding themselves in that space. And but yeah, it's a very beautiful way to work with people. And what I really like is that you've got a beginning, middle, and an end of an aura transformation. You're selling people a product, a journey, a thing with a beginning and an end, rather than just come and feel nice for an hour in my practice, or just come for a, top up. It's like a actual thing that you're taking people through, and it is permanent, and it is well, it's just a privilege to be able to do that. And that's partially why not everyone can have an aura transformation, and not everyone can become an aura mediator unless they're ready. So the way we do that is that there is an application form and an interview, and then the decision is made with myself and a colleague who check, we just bounce off each other to make sure we're both happy, and then you can sign up on the training. And I have one course in January and one course in March. And that's the dates I put in. There are specific dates, which I can't remember. God, should have thought of that before doing this. Hang on, it's pretty easy to figure out. So in January, it is going to be, it's not that one. It's going to be the 13th of January to the 20th of January, around that time. So the first part of the week is me doing a lot of the one-to-ones with each aura mediator to be. And then on Thursday, the 16th in the afternoon, we start the theory, and then it goes on till the Monday. And then in March, I think, if I remember correctly, it should be from the 10th of March to the 17th of March, same format. The interviews I'm going to conduct are on the 11th of November. And I just want to convey that it's an incredibly well-structured course. It's been going on for like close to 30 years. there's been many brilliant practitioners that have contributed to the structure and how we run it. Everything has kind of been thought of, everything is plotted in a way that the right experiences are happening at the right time. And I believe my skill, particularly when I'm working with a group of 6 aura mediators, is that I have like a keen eye on every single one of them, of you, your process. So I somehow I think maybe I wouldn't know. I'd have to ask the other instructors if this is what happens to them as well. But you're sort of getting downloads all night and day about each student and about what they need. How can you best communicate that? How could they drop out of that? How can they become more like visible to themselves and others? Like, where's the confidence issue? Where is that based on? And hopefully do it in a light-hearted, encouraging, empowering way, so that as the days goes on, each student is just like expanding and growing and developing exponentially. And I actually cried on the last day when all of you were leaving. Two of you said something, and I mean, we all cried at different points during the week, but one or two of you said just like, can't believe how like their lives have utterly changed, their inner lives have utterly changed from just being in this space and going through this process. So there were only 6 places on each course. So it's first come, first served. Interviews on the 11th of November. So you're very welcome to join. I don't know if I've like missed anything. You've got books to read before that, but you wouldn't know you have to do that until you've had an interview, really. The only other thing is you have to have had an aura transformation at least 2 months before, minimum, really minimum, before having doing the training. And the more time in between, the better, really, I reckon. But I was one of those that slipped straight in, like exactly 2 months and the hour, straight into the course that was available to me. I don't know if Gabby is there and if you want to speak or not. I don't know. Wait, let me spotlight you. Just that Gabby trained in how do I do this? This one? Yeah. Gabby trained in Kansas, but you're in Oregon? Oregon.
Portland. Yeah.
Oh,
Hello,
yeah.
everyone. Yeah. So share about my course
Um,
experience.
why not share first what you noticed between maybe just your aura transformation? Why not like talk a little bit about what you noticed after your AT, or why did you have one, or like whatever, in whatever direction
Yeah.
you want to.
I think the main reason for my aura transformation was l- protection, needing a lot of energetic protection, and also having the feeling that I needed, I don't know, it's just the feeling of needing that aura transformation. I just kind of knew. But besides that hunch, the sense of like always feeling that there was something around me and my energy that wasn't exactly me, and I could sense it. I always felt it, and it kind of always bugged me down, like having brilliant visions and a lot of motivation, a lot of energy towards moving towards something new, always wanting to step into something new, always knowing that I wanted to step into something new, but not having the energy. And Aura Transformation completely felt like that was the right step, like that was gonna bring that. And I didn't know really why, because I didn't really study or really understood really why, but it just like I knew it was the right thing.
Mm,
And I also kind of understood it energetically, but not logically. So the benefits were immediately for me the first day. I just felt first, like it felt like my inner child was in my body. Like it was like it's always been in my body, maybe, but it felt like I was seeing life with innocence, and I was starting to be that slow, calm, peaceful, innocent, that sees the world with like, I don't know. I can't explain, but it was like a really sense of innocence, and I could feel my inner child like being inside of me, my voice, in the way I laugh, everything. It just became alive and wanting to live more. It was just like energizing. Like I still feel that. And the thing is, like, the more time passes, And I look back to the first day that I thought it was like amazing. And I look back and I'm like, it's more amazing now. So it does get better and better and better, even in the rough times, because I do think like or transformation gives you a lot of opening to understand yourself better, and that can be uncomfortable. But it's definitely like a very it's a lot more grounded, it's a lot more easy, and it gives a lot more ease to deal with complex um part of the journey, healing journey.
Did you make big changes after your 18? I can't. I think you
Um,
did
I
this.
think physically I have. I did gain weight. I was like really skinny, like skinnier than I am now. Um, I health, skin, a
Didn't
lot
you
of
like
skin
leave a big
issues.
job though? Didn't you leave like your
Huh?
career? Didn't you leave your career or did that come
That
after?
too. Yes, but I've been leaving my
That's
career
what I
for
meant.
like years. Like I wanted to leave my career for years and I kept leaving and going back. Yeah, I did make that move and it felt a lot more comfortable because I did that before or transformation a lot before and it was like a complete mess. I was trying to do the same thing as I'm doing now, doing my business. I created this whole business thing and it was just a mess and I wasn't ready. And that's the reason I felt like there was like stuff putting me down. And with or transformation now doing my business, it's not that it's easy, it's still like a new path, but it's a lot easier. Like I'm more clear and I have more tools. And or transformation just gives you it's I feel like it's a teaching of also of who we are and our capability energetically and impossibilities, like how life can be a lot easier, I feel.
And how did
Or
you, what was your experience of the course, just for people that might be
the
interested?
course was like all the same feeling of our transformation times 100. Like it has increased my clarity a lot. It has given me a lot of confidence with my gifts and talking about or transformation or talking about anything that is passionate for me was very hard outside. Like I would wobble completely or feel really uncomfortable, or if somebody felt uncomfortable, I would completely wobble because they're uncomfortable. Now I'm like very in my energy. If people are feeling uncomfortable, I might sense it, but I'm still like I play around. I become more playful. I kind of back off of the topic, but I'm more confident with myself and I play and explore how to share about aura transformation and I don't feel scared if people are triggered. So it's I feel free. I feel freer to be myself. I feel more in my energy, completely more in my energy than before.
I mean,
Like
I can't
100% more.
remember when we started working together, but it's like a different person sitting here and talking.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels like a whole different person. My family notices.
Yeah, I mean, I think that talking
Um,
to you before, when if we describe that, you're spread over loads of lifetimes and timelines, and it's just like very dispersed, and you're in different dimensions, and you're dabbling with magic, and whatever comes out is not quite clear, and there's loads of ideas, and somehow over the, I don't know, is it 2 years or 1 year? It's like you now feel like, I don't know if other people can sense it, that I mean, they don't know you, but comparing that image to where you are now, you feel really calm and solid, and your words are landing, and yeah, you're just like a very different person to be talking to. And that's the privilege of being able to do this work, is that you're watching people that were scattered become clear and concise and move on with their lives in a concrete way. And you just can't really beat it. I mean, um I can feel a huge change in you, Gabby. I've been on a course with you and you feel great. Yeah.
yeah.
Yay. And
Yeah.
I think when you do, your spirit energy is innocent and pure and childlike, and on some level, in terms of the awe and wonder. And people do, you become lighter and lighter. And as you've experienced this week, sillier and sillier as you embody your spirit energy more and more. You just like, it feels like you really are coming back to some sort of simplicity, some joy, grounding that here, being able to make yourself useful. So thank you for sharing, Gabby. I
Yeah.
really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
of course.
Finding the buttons. Okay. So I'm not sure if there are questions or if I've missed anything, or if you're too shy to speak, you can either unmute yourself or you could ask a question in the chat, and I'll definitely um, answer anything. And I know I don't actually know half the names in here, so you're new to me. Alejandra, do you want to say anything about having your oral transformation in Kansas? I don't know if you do, if you're there. Maybe not there. Well, I mean, I feel oh, you are there. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm in my car. Hold on. Um,
Hang on a
what?
second. Oh, wait, hang on. May as well.
Can you
If
hear
you're on
me?
your phone, can you hang on. What have I done? I voila.
Oh, hi, Sarah.
Hi again. I saw you
Yeah,
yesterday.
I know. Um, wow. Um, Aura transformation for me has been a a gift. Has been a really powerful decision that I made in my life. I remember when I came home after that, I was like, this is probably one of the best decision, or actually the best decision I took in my life for myself. Because yes, because for me, after also knowing and having more knowing of where indigos, crystals, and all this wave of human that have been coming to earth, and then I get to know more about myself in that sense, which so many things that has been really really hard for me were like clicking, and I was like, oh whoa 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 wow, that makes sense, like my life makes so much sense, and the way everything has been for me makes so much sense. So I, to be honest, I'm still feeling the transformation because I just got my AT 3 months ago.
Is it only 3 months ago?
Four
It
four
feels
months
like
ago.
8. Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, it has been crazy. I'm currently moving to a new location, which for me, like, I'm handling the changes in my life in a way that I didn't expect it, because I used to be very anxious, and when I was like um doing changes in my life, I could like freak out in so many ways. And I've been doing everything really soft and just taking care of absolutely everything one step at a time, and I'm just doing it. I don't even know how I'm doing everything, to be honest.
Good. So if you hadn't noticed, Alejandra is like an incredible indigo person, but she came all the way to with indigos these days, they're like young adults, and we actually don't know until we really get our hands on. And sometimes you can tell by looking at people, but it's more when you get your hands on and you start the process. We don't know sometimes with indigo or transition people that are between indigo and old aura. We don't actually know. Do they need a full aura transformation and the full transmission of information, or do they just need like an extended balancing and whatever? But because you came on the course and everyone was having to learn, it just transpired that you ended up having, and it felt right that you had a full aura transformation. And if you don't mind, do you mind me sharing a little bit about observation before, after, or I can generalize, is that so many indigos that have grown up in old aura households with old aura parents and in old aura designed schools, uh, it's really tough because they've come to like make a difference and show us where we're getting things wrong, and they physically are reacting. So a lot of older, indigos have really suffered and actually feel really like there's something wrong with them, or they don't fit in, or they can't achieve what they need to achieve, or that even their mere presence is some sort of a trigger for their family members or people around them. And if they were to be born in the wild and not oppressed in any way, indigos are these huge, magical, kind of twinkly, creative, uh, you know, innovative, finding solutions to problems and really justice, truth-seeking people. They really want to make a difference, but they're in this old system and they have to prove themselves in the old system, and it gets so messy and painful. So having an aura transformation, or we call it an aura adjustment for the indigo types, is really powerful because they get an understanding of why they've been treated like they've been treated, why people react to them the way they react, understanding that they have to be more vigilant with boundaries because they don't really have any. And also just so even just the information that we're sharing can really help young people today. And for you having that, and I feel like well, for me, the most beautiful part of an aura transformation is, as an aura mediator, is closing your eyes and saying, like, what in my intuition, what is this person's essence, and feeding back as much information as possible to that person that's lying there. And you just have, it's a skill you develop and learn and trust, but every time someone's spirit energy comes into their body and unfolds around them, I'm getting goosebumps because it's just absolutely incredible. Like, I can't, it's really hard to describe how beautiful it really is. And certainly when you give the words of what you're seeing, if you can see or feel that. And I remember just saying everything I could see about you, and it was completely honest and completely true. And it's what I was seeing. And I think that was also one of the big pieces for you, like was hearing a reflection of your greatness and your bigness and the magic and medicine that lives in your body and why you came here and all that. And I think that was really important.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it was. And also, I have so many indigo friends that now I recognize that indigos and very creative and driving to do things for their life, but they just suffer so much and they have a lot of anxiety. And I went through it. And something that I haven't never mentioned about in the sessions that we have had is that I had an addiction to nicotine. And after the 80, well, before I cut it because I had to be clean for to go through the 80. And after 80, I haven't been craving it. I haven't been like going back to it. I've been like even in the same space with people that still does it, because I have friends who vape and they um do it in front of my face, and I'm like, I don't want it. Like, my body doesn't need it anymore. And I'm just so grateful for that, because I was looking for something to teach me how to feel myself, how to feel my energy in my body. And this has been like a teacher for me. Like, I've been just trying to learn more and more of how I feel, and I'm in the process, but so far so good. I feel like it's what I needed, and I'm growing and looking forward to keep being myself in all ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's just lovely to watch you expand and become who you always were, but it was hiding under all these things that the old aura bits and family and ancestry hangs around us. And I suppose having the aura transformation is like being pulled out of the swamp of all the old stuff we
Yeah.
don't need and the collective, and then integrating your spirit energy and then going from there, and making, listening to your spirit intuition, truth, body truth, and making decisions from there. And this big thing about the crystallization process that we're all going through, but that definitely kicks off after the 80, is that you're learning your unique balance of the elements for you so you can make things happen in your life. So your fire is different from my fire, my passions are different to yours, but it's all about really getting a balance of all of your elements, not just one dominant one, for example. Anyway, we could go on forever. I could go on for days, as Eloise and Gabby know. Okay, thank you, Alejandra. I really appreciate you showing up, even though you're mid-move.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's just a question about pricings and things. So I'm just going to say in end of October 2024, in case this video goes around somewhere in the future, the Aura Mediator courses are £2,800. And I'm not the only instructor. There's someone in Finland, Norway, Sweden, Mallorca. Yeah, and me. And I think that's everyone. And our prices are pretty similar, but it's been £2,850 for quite a long time. And my feeling is that the January course will stay at that price for the last time, and then I'm putting up the prices because it's been that same price since I started training during to be an instructor like 6 odd years, 6 years ago, whenever it was. So I'm going to put it up in the March one. So that's an incentive to join the January one. And in terms of the aura transformations, I'm an instructor and I actually really want to encourage people to go to aura mediators that are out there in the wild. And so the average in the UK is like 350 to 400 is like the average for an aura transformation. That's your first, the AT bit and the balancing. But with me, it's 550 at the moment at this time in time. And yes, so that's the pricings. Any other questions whilst we're here? I will email everyone the replay and some time markers, like when things, when the talk ended and when we started talking, and yeah. And I'll send the application forms if you're interested in training. I would, even if you haven't had your AT, but some of you know you want to do the training, just fill out the application form and just get on with getting your AT as soon as possible so you can unfold and go through as much of the process as possible. Okay, well, thank you everyone for showing up, and thank you to all of you people on the replay that are out there somewhere. And take care. And I'm going to go enjoy a rest because I haven't really had a chance since the course ended. And take care, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for listening.